Did you pay an application fee to your school?
My school was not taking application fees. Yes, because I was denied. So
Oh,
how
wow.
will I not remember?
Did you send cold emails before you applied to the school?
No, I didn't do any of that. She was like, "Is this the same school you brought the last time?" And I said, "Yes." And she said, "Oh, what has changed?" The only thing I thought about was my money because I paid for my visa fees. I needed my money back. I felt very sick. I went for the interview sick. I didn't because I didn't tell anyone, so I went through it after receiving 3 injections. I could
Wow.
barely sit. And one thing is, I got here and all my friends switched up on me. Not like they switched up in a bad way, but they were also going through their own thing. So it began to affect me. And I felt confined in the four walls of my room. My mental health, bad. It's none of what we see in the pictures. It is lonely. This one will traumatize you. One time I was just working on campus and I felt like if I don't visit somebody today and talk to somebody, the worst can happen to me. And so she was like, okay, found this club, found the Public Relations Student Society of America, PRSSA. I designed the constitution. I had a compliment from a guy, the most freshest guy in my class told me he never knew I had a beautiful smile.
Do you have other schools that you would recommend for communication studies?
I have friends in other schools.
What is your one SOP tip?
Whatever your background is, it has made you.
You are currently on OPT.
So now this was the bigger challenge I had to face. My geographical location in America. This is America. We are talking about systems. Didn't get any interview. Didn't get feedback from any of them. I was even looking for internships. So one day I'm just there. Somebody sends me a friend request on Facebook. For the first time, I get an interview. They tell international students to network. And when I see posts like that, I just sit back and I say, it's not because we are not networking. As somebody will say, you're not networking with the right people. No, you can't say that this to an international student. Our journey is challenging. So what are you talking about? Me, if you book a flight for me to come to Ghana tomorrow, I'll come.
All right, before we start, consider subscribing to the channel. This helps me so much. Thank you. Would you consider your study abroad journey to be very smooth?
I wouldn't say it's smooth. I would rather say it's been more of an adventure because I didn't know what I was getting myself into. I had not the least idea about what I was coming to do here. The honest truth is that I had no intention to study abroad. I had no intention to travel abroad in the first place. It just happened to happen.
Yeah.
I had friends abroad. So in 2022, they were giving me that pressure. Why are you in Ghana? Why don't you come to abroad? Why are you there? And then they started doing the research. They'll send you 50 schools offering communication. We're funding, 20 schools offering with this GPA and stuff. And I'm like, okay, if you are going to put in the work, then I can meet you there.
Yeah.
You bring the schools, I go through them, read their program, find out whether it's something I would want because I had specifics. I told them if I'm going to study, then this is what I want. So the more they bring the links, the more I do the research and investigating to find out whether the school is a match for me and whether they had funding for me. And for the first time, I was always like, all the 50 schools you sent me, I don't want it. The 20 schools, I don't want them.
Okay.
And then one day my friend sent me just one link to a school in New Mexico. I went to their website and I was captivated. I was like, okay, so far, this is one of the schools that has a detailed website that I don't have to do so much. I don't have to ask myself questions, trying to wonder where to find answers to them. So this is the school I want to go. This is the school I see myself becoming all that I have said I want to become if I should go and study masters. And that's how it started.
Why were you not interested in the 20 to 50 schools? What was the main thing? Is it because of the website, just the website, or there were other things?
Yes, actually, the website was part of it. I'm a critique kind of, don't get me wrong. And I like to criticize things, especially when in a professional setting, and this is an academic setting. I expect a certain level of, and I come to your website and I'm not able to get so much information in one place.
Yeah.
No, you can't do this. This is not the kind of standard I have in my mind when it comes to academics.
Yeah.
So the website was part. Their websites discouraged me. And I didn't really have that passion to want to come and study abroad. So the
Okay.
more I was finding fault, the more I was finding a reason not to continue.
Yeah. So which means you applied to just one school.
Just, you see that, just one school,
What is the name of the school?
Eastern New Mexico University.
And you came to study communication.
Yeah,
Did you have friends in the school before you applied to the school?
I did not have friends in the school before I applied. So I applied in March 2022
Okay.
and I had everything in June. Yeah, June. Like by this time, I had received my graduate assistantship offer to complete my financial declaration form. And I had filled it, sent it back to the school. And then I got my I-20 somewhere July, because I really
Wow.
didn't understand what filling the form was like and stuff. So there was a lot of back and forth with the school, like, hey, you need to correct this. No, this has to go here. This has to come here, and all that. So that's what
So
transpired.
the friend who recommended the school to you, which school was she in?
Oh,
Where was
it's a
she
he.
studying?
He was in
Here.
Missouri or
Okay.
Missouri or what, however they pronounce
Yeah.
that. Yeah.
Yeah. That's where you are now, right?
Yes, that's that's.
So that must be a special friend. More than a friend.
Oh, it has nothing to do with my friend. It has nothing to do with my friend.
Okay, I see. So the person saw the school and recommended the school to you. Do you know why?
No, more like he was trying to help me out. It's
Okay.
like, I'm in the US. I like it. I think he should also come. Why are you in Ghana? I feel like you can make it here. You can thrive. All the opportunities you need to become, you have them. You're right there. So it wasn't. He didn't have a why. He was just
Okay.
like, if you don't like this, maybe then you might like that. So let me keep recommending schools to you.
Oh wow. And you applied in March. You got a funding. Was it in June or
Yeah,
July?
June.
June. Did admission and funding come together, or admission came and then funding came later?
The funding came first because I needed the funding to fill my financial declaration form. So once I was done with filling the financial declaration form, then admission followed. But it was the same person who gave me the funding that was going to give me the admission. So it wasn't
Okay.
really a big deal.
Given that you were not so interested in the study abroad stuff, did you pay an application fee to your school?
My school was not taking application fees. My school has never done that. My school does not
So free
charge
application fee.
application. Yes.
So if
Just
they
that
were
you do a transcript evaluation.
okay, so if they were charging application fee, you wouldn't have applied to the school. Is that
I
the
don't think
case?
I would have, but there's also the possibility I would have.
So what I take from all of this is that you were avoiding the other schools because of the application fee. Is that the case, or I'm wrong?
Not at all. The reason is I had
Okay.
friends who were willing to pay or
Okay.
fund. So it had nothing to do with that. But it could have deterred me too.
So the evaluation, how much did you spend on the evaluation? Do you
I
remember?
cannot recall because
Okay.
again, I did not pay. Somebody did. So it was more like all that time, anything with money, it wasn't on my ticket. So I cannot remember.
Okay. So the evaluation, did you send a report to more than one school or just your the school that you finished?
Yes, just the school I finished.
Wow, which means the application process, you didn't actually spend anything. Wow,
Just
that's
the transcript evaluation, which I don't think was more than $150. Because
okay. Well,
what
this
I did
okay.
was they gave me options of institutions to do that with. And I went through them and I was looking for one of the cheapest because I was thinking of paying it myself. Then
Okay.
later on, when I discussed with my friends, they were like, okay, I'll pay.
So you got a funding in June. You got your I-20 in July. Did you go for your interview in July?
No, I went to my interview on August 3rd,
Wow.
2022.
Wow.
Hey, that's the
2020. Okay.
2022. Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
2022.
2022. Okay. Your visa interview experience, how was it like? Do you remember the questions you were asked, how you prepared, like all of those things? Do you remember?
Yes, because I was denied. So
Oh
how
wow.
will I not remember?
You were denied in August. Your
I
first
was.
attempt was in
Yeah.
August and you were denied.
Yeah.
Wow. Tell me about it.
I did mock interviews and everybody would tell me, hey, your story is too genuine. You don't know how to lie. You should be adding some things to it. And I'm like, because there's nothing. And this is my first experience. It's not like
Yeah.
I none of my friends discussed any of these things with me because most of them did not experience this.
Mm.
They all had full funding. They went straight into PhDs. Their stories are
Yeah.
different. So I had to navigate this phase alone. And I
Mm.
go for the interview. I went with a business bank statement. And they asked me why the US, why my program, and who will be funding my study. So I said, my uncle, I had his bank statements. The viewer actually took my bank statements. He went through it. And that was how, I was learning through the process. He went through my bank statement detail by detail. I had over 600,000 Ghana cedis in the account. But because the VO read the bank statement, detail after detail, he told me that, hey, you have all this money, but we cannot accept your bank statement as a statement of funding or finances for you because this is a business account. And I can see that
Mm.
there's a lot of withdrawal and deposits, withdrawal and deposits. And it shows that it's being used to transact business. Nothing
Mm.
shows that there's that funding is reserved for your study.
Mm.
So we cannot accept this. And I was glad he took time to explain that to me.
Yeah.
And then that was it.
So that was on the 3rd of August.
Yeah.
When was the second one?
I had wanted to go again in spring 2023.
Mm.
But again, this is somebody who doesn't want to come to study abroad.
Yeah.
So I just relaxed. I did not go. I went in fall. So
The
my
next
school
four.
gave me, yeah, my school gave me an application. Is that called application? No, they gave me a slot for spring
Okay. They
that
deferred
I
your
should try
application.
again. Yes.
Mm.
But I didn't want to. And my graduate coordinator emailed me and she said, hey, I want you to start online in
Mm.
spring. If you don't want to come, start. So I started online in spring. That got
Mm.
me a little bit comfortable and settled that I can do this here. Why do I have to go all the way there?
Mm.
And then I started working towards fall when I can join them in person.
Mm.
So I went again in August
So you went again in
2023.
August 2023. The first one you were denied. What was your deficit? Because you had funding, right? So what
Yeah,
was your deficit?
my deficit was it about $9,000?
That's not a lot.
It wasn't.
Yeah.
It wasn't.
So the second time again, when you went, was the deficit lower or the same amount?
I had a deficit of less than $1,000. And this is what actually happened. Because I
Mm.
started in the spring, my school has, because they still do, my school has scholarships. They are called foundation scholarships for
Mm.
students that have already started. So you should have started. And
Okay.
then in the spring, and they give the scholarship to you in the fall. So I started
Okay.
online and then I leveraged on that to apply for those additional foundation scholarships.
Mm.
So by the end of the
Wow.
spring semester, I had an additional scholarship. And I won't lie, it's not because I qualified or anything, it was because my graduate coordinator liked me.
Mm.
She
Wow.
wanted me to come to the school. She wanted me in her department. So she was making sure that I was doing all the right things that
Mm.
can help her help me.
Yeah.
She got me to start online. I was in two of her classes. I was just, and I applied for the scholarship. She put in a word for me, and I got.
Were
This
you
has not happened
exchanging?
before.
Mm.
They don't give funding to somebody who is not in the school. I was not
Wow.
there. I received
Wow.
an email that I have to come for my scholarship award on this particular day in this particular room.
Mm.
And I sent them an email. Hello, I don't know what you're talking about because I'm not even there.
Yeah.
So you get it. She even wanted me to
Yeah.
do GA from Ghana
Mm.
while she's in the US. She wanted me to be her research assistant. She was willing to pay me. I went through the process, and HR tells me because I don't have a visa, they can't get a social security number for me.
Yeah.
So they cannot approve that. I'm like, HR, why are you behaving like the
Yeah.
weapon fashioned against me? So my style is kind of different. It just doesn't.
Mm. So why do you think your coordinator was so interested in you, like helping you out to make sure you come? Why did you send cold emails before you applied to the school?
No, I didn't do any of that.
Mm.
But I think the truth here is that my coordinator is naturally a sweet person. Aside being a sweet person, she, I don't know, I just can't
Yeah.
describe her. But she's
Mm.
just one of a kind.
Mm.
And I
Wow.
think what held me here was not just my SOP, but I think she might have done a background check on me. She might have
Mm.
Googled me. She might have done something.
Mm.
And I wrote like a statement of purpose that any regular. I say any regular because I'm a very passionate person. If I don't like something, I don't do it.
Mm.
I write the way I speak.
Mm. So there were a lot of
So,
emotions in it, right?
and she's an emotional person. So she
Mm.
always tells me she feels my words even when I'm not speaking them. So more like
Mm.
she felt my words. She felt
Yeah.
everything I was
Wow.
saying. So she liked me. And
Mm.
she had a vision. Actually, she had a gap she wanted somebody to fill. And
Mm.
she felt I could fill that spot for her. I could
Wow.
take that job of her
Mm.
table or something. So she
Mm.
just needed me there. And I spoke about my nonprofit and what I seek to do in my nonprofit in the long
Mm.
run because that was my future endeavor. That was the only thing I
Mm.
spoke about. I didn't talk about teaching or anything. No, I told her about how I want to travel the world, educating young
Mm.
girls, this, that, on this. And so that was that.
Wow. Okay,
But
back to
generally, it was her. It was her. She wanted
mm,
me and she held
yeah.
me out.
Mm. Okay, back to the visa interview. The second attempt. Do you remember the questions you were asked and how did you prepare differently?
I wasn't asked any question.
Oh,
Preparation, I had two bank statements.
okay.
I had one from the business account again, and then I had one from a personal account because,
Of the same person?
no, of a different person.
Mm.
Because I was just like, whatever, like, whatever.
Yeah.
Anyway, I
Yeah.
should be able to defend myself. But I
Yeah.
got there, and the VO was leaving her seat. So she didn't speak to me from her seat. She spoke to me from the entrance, like the door where she, of her cubicle.
Which
And
country?
I was in Ghana. I went to Ghana, Accra
Okay.
again.
First one was just okay, okay, again, okay.
Yeah, so she was speaking to me from a distance. Like, hey, do you have a bank statement? She had not even picked my I-20
I-20
or
and
passport.
passport, yeah.
Like, do you have your I-20? Do you have a bank statement? And I said yes. And when she was done with whatever she was talking about there, she came
Mm.
closer. She was like, your I-20 and passport. I just passed it to her.
Mm.
And she looked at it. She was like, oh, you don't even need a bank statement. She was like, is this the same school you brought the last time? And I said, yes. And she said, oh, what has changed? And before I could even answer her, she was like, take this sheet. I'll keep your passport. Oh, you have to go to school in 5 days' time. Have you booked any flight? And I said, no. She said, why haven't you? Don't you want to go? And I said, I need this visa first. I need this approval. She's
Yeah.
like, yes, now you have it. I'm going to have them expedite
Uh
your
yeah.
visa process, whatever. Come for it on Friday. So I went for the interview on Tuesday. She told me to come for it on Friday.
Hmm. Wow. That's weird. Like it's like so easy for you, right?
Yeah, for the second time, it feels like a dream.
Huh. Oh. Okay, so for those who are preparing, a lot of students are preparing right now. What can you tell them? Given that you've had an experience of, denial, visa denial, what can you tell those people?
Well, you can only take control of the things within your care. You want to make sure you have your I-20. You know the dates on your I-20. You want to make sure you've paid your service fees. Most
Mm.
of them do not pay their service fees until 3 days to their interview.
Mm.
It wouldn't reflect on time. And you know these views. Not everybody would say, okay, take this and come back later.
Yeah.
They would deny you straight up.
Mm.
Because on the day of my interview, I saw that happen a lot. People did not even know they had to pay service fees.
Oh
So
wow.
if you are going to see this before your interview, you have to pay service fees and pay it on time,
Mm.
at least 1 week or 5 days before your interview.
Mm.
And then prepare, know your story, just have a story. Have mock interviews. The mock interviews, I think, they are not necessarily meant to tell you what exactly to say, but they help you build your confidence.
Yeah,
They draw
that's
your
true.
attention to certain questions that you might not
Yeah.
have thought of.
That's
So
true.
give yourself the chance to have a mock interview.
Yeah.
And if you don't want to do that, make sure you see the transcripts of people who have gone for the interview.
Yeah.
I prepared my friends to go for interview with no mock interview, just transcript. I send them transcripts of people who have gone and have been approved. I just do that. I'm like, just study it. You'll be fine. Because I don't really have the time to come and mock interview with you, but I know this can also help. So you have to do one of the two: mock interview, see transcript, so that at least it gives you a fair idea of
Yeah.
what you are getting into. And
So
these are the things within your control. Whatever the VO chooses to say or
that's true.
do, that is in their control. That
Yeah.
is at their discretion.
Yeah.
And don't blame any of these things on you. For my first time, when I was denied, it didn't hurt. I wasn't pained. The only thing I thought about was my money because I paid for my visa fees. I needed my money back. I needed my money back. How was I going to get it?
Yeah.
And secondly, my friends paid my service fees and I had promised them I'll pay back. And it was just hurting me that I was going to have to pay them the service fee when I
Yeah.
did not get an approval. Do you get it?
Yeah.
But you don't have to blame yourself or no. And believe me, you can either be approved or denied.
Yeah.
Don't only think you will be approved. No, you will be
Yeah.
denied. It will shock you.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I'm not saying you will be denied. I'm just saying
Yeah. It's
that it's a
possible.
denial or an approval.
Yeah.
So just bear that in mind and don't be so hard on yourself. It's just a phase. It's
Yeah.
just one of those things. You have to get through it and you'll be just fine.
Given that a lot of people in the US were helping you out with different things, did somebody pay your flight for you or you did that yourself?
Shy, what are you driving at?
No, I'm just, because it's like you were not interested in anything at all. So it's like people had to, force you along the way. So I'm just wondering, was that the case? Did somebody pay for your flight or
Yes,
somebody pay for
somebody
your...
did. A completely different stranger.
Hey, you have a lot of strangers in
I
your life. Wow. I need some of these strangers actually.
I wouldn't lie because this one my parents had completely lost hope. They weren't
Mm,
interested in it because
mm,
after 1 year you have to pay the service fee again. And I went to
yeah.
my dad for the money. For the first time, I didn't take the money from my dad. I did everything. Like I paid everything from my pocket.
Mm,
That's why I needed my money back. But for
yeah.
the second time I needed help, I went to my dad. I was like, Dad, I need money. I have to pay my service fee. The man
Mm,
says, I cannot give you the $4,000. Not
mm,
because I don't have, but because I don't trust this thing.
yeah.
So I'll give you $2,000. Hey, that's it, 2,000 Ghana cedis. So 4,000 Ghana cedis and 2,000 Ghana cedis. Yes. So he gave me 2,000 Ghana cedis. I was like, okay. And
For the
then I
what?
topped up
For
service
the...
fee. You know, service fee
Okay,
is
I
three
guess you
fifty.
mean $200, right?
Yeah, but he gave me like in Ghana cedis.
Oh, okay, okay. Yeah, that
Yeah.
makes sense.
So he gave
Okay.
me the Ghana cedis. I paid for it. So even the flight, I went for the interview without telling anyone. Nobody
Mm,
knew.
mm,
Absolutely nobody. I wouldn't even lie
mm.
because I had told everybody to just shut up around me. Because it
Yeah.
didn't go well the first time. Even that most people didn't know, but my parents knew, my siblings.
Mm,
But this time around, it was just my dad and I. But I went for the interview without telling him. So on the Tuesday, as soon as I got out from the embassy, I left my phone with those men out there. As soon as I picked
yeah.
my phone, my dad was calling. He was like, won't you go for the interview? I was like, Dad, Makwaba. And I've been approved. And he was like, so when
Wow.
are you coming home? I said, send me money. I'm coming home tomorrow. And they were not prepared with the money for the flight.
Okay.
I'm not saying it was their responsibility to, but
Yeah.
I'm your daughter.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, they were not prepared. They had just
I guess it was
$20,000 at a
sudden for
time.
them. So,
Yes, and I had to like book an urgent flight because
mm,
school was starting the following Monday,
yeah.
and I had Saturday to move because it would take me 2 days to get there.
Mm, wow.
As of Thursday, I was in the hospital on Wednesday and Thursday because in the
Hospital.
process I had fallen sick.
Okay. Ah, wow.
Sleepless nights, trying to get
Uh,
interview dates. I
man.
felt very sick. I went for the interview sick. I didn't tell anyone, so I went through it.
Yeah.
I went home, I was sick, I couldn't do anything for 2 days. They had wanted to keep me in the hospital, but I was like, hey, I'm like, just leave me and let me go. It's been crazy.
Yeah.
I left home Thursday night to Accra after receiving 3 injections. I could
Wow.
barely sit.
Wow.
And that was the
Hey.
last time I was home.
Wow. Hey.
Came to Accra Friday dawn, went to Medina, back to Makula. I was just because I had to buy stuff. I was not prepared for the journey. And then that Friday, a friend calls me and he's like, "Hey, I've spoken to a friend of mine who is speaking to a friend of his in the US. And
Hmm.
he says he will book your flight for you. How much do you have?"
Hmm.
I said, "I have 25,000 Ghana cedis." He said, "Bring it." And so it was like my friend's friend. And he booked the flight for me on that Friday for me to leave on Saturday 9.
25,000. Do you mean 2,500 cities?
No,
Oh,
25,000 Ghana cedis. Or how is it even pronounced? This one is
yeah.
confusing.
Yeah. But I feel like
Like
that's a lot of
the
money.
dollar equivalent was like
Okay. And
$2,000
how much was your
or more.
flight?
I didn't know anything about the flight. I wouldn't lie.
Okay. Okay. Oh.
Only to find
So
out this person booked only business class and first class flights for me.
wow. Hey, people have but you were sick, so you needed that.
The person didn't know. I never knew the person.
Okay.
No, nobody knew I was sick.
Okay. Hmm. Wow. When you arrived at the airport, did you get help? Did you get people, somebody picking you up from the airport?
Yeah, because at this time I had started online. I had met two Ghanaians in my
Hmm.
class. So
Okay.
they were like, "Hey, when you get here, we know this Ghanaian in Texas or
Hmm.
Texas or however they pronounce it.
Yeah.
We will let him pick you, spend the night at his place, and in the morning the school bus will pick you up." I was like,
Hmm.
"Sounds good."
Wow.
So it's like from that time, everything was planned.
Okay.
I just had people helping me.
And what about accommodation? Did you secure it before you got to campus or
Yes, I had
they
two
had already?
Ghanaians there already.
Okay. So did you send them money to, secure a spot for you, or it was when you go here that, you know,
They were
uh,
literally just waiting for me to arrive. And
mhm.
my school, they can check you in the day you arrive once your spot has been reserved by someone. So it's like the Ghanaians reserved the spot, they made the deposits and everything. And then when I got there, they transferred everything into my name.
Is it like on campus apartment?
Yes, on campus apartment.
Did you stay in an on campus apartment throughout, or you moved to an off campus
Yeah,
apartment?
on campus apartment for 2 years. Or not 2 years, but for 3 semesters. And
Mm. Wasn't
more.
that expensive compared to
Not
off
at
campus?
all.
Okay.
Not at all.
Okay. That's good to know. Is there something you wish you knew before coming to the US?
A lot of things.
Hmm.
A lot of things. I don't know
Tell me
if
about
this is
that.
the right place to say it because I don't want to discourage anyone, but that's the truth.
Yeah, you
Do
just have
your
to say.
research.
Yeah, you just have to say the truth, and the thing is that even when you are telling the truth, there will be people who criticize you, but you still have to
Yeah,
stick to your truth. When they come and then they find out, then yeah, then it's
yeah.
like you'll be vindicated in a way. Yeah, so yeah, so
Do your
tell.
research.
Mm,
Do your research on the state you are going to, on the school. If possible, reach out to people, let them tell you the
mm,
reality on the ground.
yeah, yeah,
Do your research on the US as a whole. How does US receive international students? How do they treat you? How do they
mm,
prioritize you? Job opportunities in the program. You see your field of study. Find out. Do all that. I didn't do any of those things. I I didn't do anything.
yeah.
Do your research. Job opportunities. Because if you want to change program, I think you would be influenced from there. So that the moment
Mm,
you get to the US, you find out which avenues are available. If you have to
yeah,
change program right from the beginning, you do that.
yeah,
Even if you have to switch schools, once you're in the US, you can do that. You do that
mm,
quickly.
yeah,
Don't wait till you get here.
mm,
So that was something I wish I knew. If I knew that, yes, maybe I would have still read communication, but I would
mm,
have added something else. Or I would
mm,
have moved from my school to a different school. I
okay.
would have moved. But
Mm,
maybe the reason I stayed was because of my graduate coordinator.
mm,
I loved her.
mm,
So it was all I had imagined. So I just wanted to stay by her and learn from her. But if I
mm,
had the opportunity or the avenue to leave after 1 year, I
yeah,
would have left.
mm,
So do your research and speak with people. When people tell you some of these things, they are not lying to you. When people tell you that in America here, you'll be alone, you have to get, they are not lying to you. When they tell you, even though you have full funding, you can spend all the money back on the school and you have nothing left. Know that they are not lying to you.
Yeah.
Because all those money will be showing on your I-20, but you come and then taxes. They don't
Yeah.
tell you that that money is gross
Yeah.
scholarship, whatever. There's a net after
Yeah.
taxes. They don't tell you a lot of things. That sometimes when they tell you this apartment is this particular amount, that is just the rent. There's something called utilities. There's something called whatever. You pay more than you are seeing.
Yeah.
When people tell you that, they're not lying. So these are some of the things that I wish I knew, because I'm one person who likes to be informed and prepared. But it seems everything caught me off guard
Yeah.
to a point where I never ever thought like the prospects, the job prospects when it comes to communication. I never thought of it because I felt my graduate coordinator was there.
Yeah. She's your mother.
She's my mother. I thought I knew Ghanaians here before coming. And one thing is, I got here and all my friends switched up on me. Not like they switched up in a bad way, but they were also going through their own things.
Yeah.
PhD students trying to get their life together.
Yeah.
They were all going through their own things. So the moment I got here, they were like, "You're welcome. Come and face reality." They told me that. And just that they distanced themselves. And I was like, okay, I'm welcome to reality.
Yeah.
And I've gone through it. I've had to figure things out myself. And I'm like, okay, I appreciate them distancing themselves. If not, I wouldn't have known. And now I'm also able to tell others before they make the
Yeah.
same mistakes. Do your research, have the needed conversations, reach out to people if they're accessible. Try to find out as much as I never even knew about OPT. I had no idea about OPT until when I was about graduating. Like I didn't do any research. I'm not lying because I was not really interested.
Yeah.
Has that changed? I don't think so. But yeah, I'm here.
Yeah. I will get into the job search and all of that because it's very brutal if you're an international student. I'll get into that. But so you mentioned, if you knew, the job prospect of studying communication and all of that, that would have helped you. Would you have switched to a different program, and which program would you have switched to?
Okay, so within the same communication, we have the communication disorders, and then we have health communication. I
Okay.
am more inclined towards mass media. So I would have at least made some adjustments and gone into health communication or maybe communication disorders,
Okay.
just a little adjustment to get that because those are in demand.
Okay.
And public relations. Maybe I would have taken some public relation classes, but I didn't at all. But I was a TA for public relation classes because I know my stuff already.
Yeah.
Nobody even wanted me to read communication because they felt I know it already. I already embody it. So why am I going to waste time to study it? But it's just been my dream to study communication. So I just wanted to fulfill that. So I would have actually switched it up with these things or possibly do something like social work, you know,
Yeah.
or major. I didn't major in anything because I wanted a school where I could do everything in one space. So
Yeah.
my school gave me the opportunity, broadcast production, broadcast journalism, public relation, media, you know, everything all in one place. So
Yeah.
I did everything,
Yeah. When you
but
do
maybe I would
everything,
have focused on something.
yeah, when you do everything, it's not a good idea. Specialization is always important. Based on the little I know, I think when you specialize in something, you gain more knowledge and you are paid more in a way compared to if you want to be jack of all trades, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
So in your case, if you had left your school, okay, you talked about leaving your school, like you considered it, but just your coordinator because of the relationship you have with her and all of that, or you had with her. What is it about the school that you were not happy with, like that made you consider leaving the school?
Okay, so their communication program.
Okay.
There are, let me say, requisite courses when it comes to communication, and my school did not have them. Again, when I started, I didn't know. It wasn't even a problem. until I started communicating or interacting with other friends in other schools reading communication. And then I realized what we were lacking. My school is in a rural kind of area or
Yeah.
state, you know.
Yeah.
So there was a lot of flexibility in the whole program.
Mm.
And what I thought I needed was not in there. The things that were going to propel me into other um, programs or the things that were going to put me on the same pedestal with other students from other schools, we didn't have them.
Mm.
So that was after a year, and I recognized that, and that was kind of a little too late.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean,
So that was it.
yeah, I can relate to your experience because when I came to the US to do my master's in economics, the program was a 1 year program, and I didn't know that until I was almost coming up. I don't know, maybe when I got here also, that was when I was told that it's a 1 year program. And because they fund you for 1 year, you can do it for 2 years, but then they fund you for 1 year. So in my case, I didn't know what to do because economics, you would have to take the GRE if you want to do PhD in economics, and I didn't have the GRE. So that was really difficult for me, and I had to do another master's in IT. Did you consider anything like that, like doing another master's degree?
No, but I think I will be doing another master's degree,
Mm,
not because I want to, but
mm,
because I find myself in the situation where I have to study another
yeah,
master's degree.
I see. Okay, so what about the funding that you had from your school? Was that a problem? Was that part of your consideration to leave the school, or that wasn't part of it at all?
Not at all. It had nothing to do with the
Which means your money,
funding.
the money was good, right? Good enough, not like perfect, but
Manageable because
okay.
with the extra, the first assistantship I had, that was like graduate assistantship.
Mm,
That took care of all my bills from
mm,
books,
yeah.
whatever, housing,
Mm,
it took care of all those necessities. But the extra one I had was for me. So
mm,
in effect, the GA money was not going to feed me.
okay.
It just took care of the external necessary things and was
Mm,
left with my living expenses.
mm,
So the extra funding that came in was not for me. So in one semester, I had like a lot of money because usually
mm,
when they give you the funding, they divide it into two
yeah.
for the fall semester and the spring semester.
Mm,
So that was it. But it wasn't. I don't think it was about the funding because I had found community in the place.
mm,
I don't like cities, places where that have big
yeah.
people and stuff.
Yeah.
So that place was okay. There were few people. I was enjoying the community. Everybody's so caring. Everybody's so nice. I
Mm,
had heard of racism in America. I wasn't experiencing that. I had
mm,
heard of people not being so nice to people. I was not experiencing that. My department was one of the most cordial places to thrive as an international
mm,
student. Faculty members, excellent relationship. Everybody's interested in your affairs.
mm,
They want to see you do well. They want to see all the international students come together. They
yeah.
like to bring us together. It wasn't about them. It was just the program.
Mm,
Because when I look at where I want to go, and if this is the program you're offering me,
yeah.
yeah. And my friends, even to a point where the people I had helped to come to America started talking down on me.
Oh wow.
That didn't you see this place and you went there? Why are you there?
Mm,
And I'm like, hey, you can't talk down on my blessing. Maybe
yeah.
if I had not gone through that experience, I would have been able to help you to come.
Yeah.
And
That's
we
the
will
thing.
all not have the same stories. I'm not here to have the same story as you.
Yeah.
I'm happy that you made it to your school. I'm happy that you are learning things that I wish I was learning.
Yeah.
But that does not mean you can talk down on my school.
Yeah. Sometimes the disrespect, sometimes hey, you help somebody, the person comes and then the person suddenly feels like, they are bigger than you and they want to disrespect you. Like, yeah, it doesn't make any sense. The thing is that everybody's life is different and everybody's path is different. So if you have some advantages in a way, it doesn't mean anything because that is not the destination, right? At the
Yeah.
end of the day, it depends on if I go to a school that you think is lowly ranked, you don't know the skills that I'm going to acquire, you don't know how that is going to shape me, for the future, all of that. Yeah. Okay. I want to ask about the school, the program itself. Was there like an opportunity for you to publish a paper, because our international students, for me personally, I came to the US I was never interested in publishing anything, like never. Even when I was in Ghana, I did thesis and all of that, master's, thesis, bachelor's degree thesis. I could have actually worked a little bit harder to publish this, and so I never did because I was never interested. And now I wish I did because, yeah, it is one of those things. You personally, did you get the opportunity to do that?
Well, I one of the reasons I chose my school was because they had options, thesis
Mm,
and capstone.
okay.
And I was looking at the practical side of it, so I chose capstone.
Mm, okay.
But I ended up doing thesis
Mm,
because when I got to New Mexico, when I got to my school, I found interest, or let's
okay.
say I began loving them. I was interested in their story.
Mm,
I wanted to find out why the community is this way.
mm, okay.
Why are the people here the way they are? Why don't
Mm,
you know? So I
yeah.
was like, okay, let me switch from capstone to thesis, and
Mm,
that's how I ended up writing a thesis or something. So that was
mm,
not my original plan. I'm just like you. I didn't want to have anything to do with
yeah.
research, but I
Right.
ended up doing that.
Yeah, right now you should consider that because that can open up some opportunities for you. It kind of gives credibility to you in a way. It's not even about the result because a lot of the researches that people, publish, most of them they are just, the results are repeated, same results, nothing significant, no impact. But when you say, oh, I have this paper or I have these papers, yeah, people don't care about the results, but more like, okay, you have them, you went through the process. So, yeah, I think when you do another master's degree, you should, you know, try and then do
But I
that.
think that's experience in academia because when you get off school, it's a
Mm,
whole different ball game.
yeah. The reason I'm saying this is because of the EB2 route. So the EB2 route, publications, when you have publications, it helps you a lot to, get a green card, the EB2, using the EB2 route. That's why I'm saying that.
Yeah, that's what I
People get
hear.
it
But
without.
when you look at the advanced degree professional option, it doesn't require.
Yeah, it's one of the
You can
options,
use
but then
it,
it
but
helps. Yeah, it kind of gives some advantage to you. It's not everybody uses publications, but it kind of helps
mhm,
if you have it. That's why I'm saying that.
yeah,
What about your mental health? Have you really struggled with that?
I have.
Is it like loneliness, depression, struggles with academics? What exactly?
It's been a mix of all that because when people used to say in America it's lonely,
Yeah.
I used to think I could get through it because
Mm,
I like to be on my own. I like my space.
yeah.
But I'm a social animal. I
Exactly.
like interaction. I thrive
Yeah.
on interaction.
Mm,
All my life, I've been interacting with people.
mm,
And I live with a big family,
yeah.
kids, young
Mm,
people, adults. Even though I'm not always around them engaging and I'm
yeah.
always in my space, but there are people around me. And I personally like to feel life around me. But over here, I was not feeling life around me. I couldn't hear anybody talk. I couldn't hear baby cries. I couldn't hear car moves. I couldn't hear doors get slammed. Like, no life.
Yeah.
So it began to affect me. In Ghana, I would rather prefer to be in my room and leave my door open so at least I can see somebody walk by or walk past.
Mm,
Even if I don't go out, my dad or my mom will check in and be like, hey, we haven't seen you today. But here, even when I leave my main door open, I don't see anybody pass by.
yeah.
And it was beginning to have a toll on me because there's no life. Sometimes the air is not even, there's no air.
Yeah. That's true. Mm,
And I felt confined in the four walls of my room,
mm,
from class to the room, from the department to the room.
yeah.
That confinement was making me sick. I had
Yeah.
Ghanaians around, there were other Ghanaians, but it's like everybody was assimilating into the system.
Yeah.
They would rather want to be in their rooms, they would rather want to be in
Mm,
their space. They don't want to talk. So there are days that I will step out and will take a walk because if I don't take a walk, something will happen to me. It's been rough.
yeah.
My mental health, bad. I don't know how I've gone through it because again, I thrive on interaction.
Mm,
I want to talk. I want to see you. At
yeah.
least even if you don't want to talk to me, I want to see you pass
Yeah.
by.
Yeah.
And the classes are not large classes. Most of my classes were about six. The largest I saw was about 8 or 10. Sometimes you even wish that after class somebody would want to stay behind. Nobody wants to stay behind.
Mm.
So all these things were not helping me. I was like, what have I gotten myself into?
Yeah.
It's a serious.
Mm.
Maybe you may not realize, or when people tell you, you may not find that relatable, but it's none of what we see on the screens.
Mm.
It's none of what we see in the pictures.
Yeah.
It is lonely.
Yeah. Yeah.
Even if you think you know how to deal with boredom and all those things, no, this one is different.
Next level. Yeah.
This one will traumatize you.
Yeah.
Like, even before I left that place to this place, one
Mm.
time I was just working on campus and I felt like if I don't visit somebody today and talk to somebody, the worst can happen to me.
Wow.
So I was just working on campus looking out for who I could just meet and be like, hey,
Mm.
can I come over to your place with you?
Yeah.
And I saw two Ghanaians walking about by, and I stopped and I'm like, hey, where are you guys going? They said, oh, we are going to our apartment. I was like, Charlie, me, I'll follow you to our apartment because today I
Yeah.
feel like talking to somebody. I feel like interacting with somebody. I'm not going to my room.
Yeah.
And I followed them, went to their room. I stayed there the whole day till like 7 p.m. when my roommates came back from campus.
Mm.
I'm not going to stay alone. And
Yeah.
the support system you're looking for, you might not find it.
Yeah.
So I joined church,
Mm.
thinking that at least maybe I could go and visit some of the church members and stuff. They are not like that.
Yeah.
And even that, the more you get to know them, the more you wouldn't even want to be in their space that much. I mean,
Mm.
you know.
Yeah.
So that was also serving as a deterrent to me. That,
Yeah.
yeah, I had a church community reference, but I don't want to be in their space, unfortunately.
Yeah.
So it's very lonely. My
Yeah.
mental health has suffered it.
Yeah. You're right. I mean, I can relate to it because, obviously I'm also here. Yeah, I live in a big apartment complex and my neighbors, I go out of my door, I see their doors and all of that, but I don't even know who they are because I never see them. You never get to talk to people. And the other thing also is for some of the the Ghanaians or the Africans here, depending on your experiences, if you get into some issues with them, it's like those who are supposed to be your friends, you might end up, kind of taking yourself out of their spaces in a way to,
Yeah,
because you don't want them to mess you up, right? In a way, because some of them maybe they just want to know about your stuff, but then they are not going to really reveal anything to you, or they might end up saying terrible things about you, those things. So yeah, it's really rough. People tell me, oh,
I,
I like it, but when you come, you see that you would not
yep.
like it. You don't
I can
like
really
it.
relate to the Ghanaian stuff, but I
Yeah,
mean, the
you've had
Ghanaians are
your
very nice people. Just that they want you to feel like you have to share your business with them.
yeah,
No, I
yeah,
want to be in community with you, but I don't want you in my space.
yeah,
I don't want you to know my life
yeah,
because even you are not willing to give me the
yeah,
tea when it comes to your life, but you want to know mine.
yeah. That's
And
the
then they
thing.
want to control you, especially when
Yeah,
you come to meet
you are
them here.
new. Yeah, when you are new.
They
Yeah,
want you to dance to their music.
yeah,
I'm my own person.
yeah,
Thank you for receiving me when I came, but I can't dance to your music. I don't
yeah,
dance to your music.
yeah,
I'm looking for genuine friendship, but if you
yeah,
can't give me that, I can still draw my line.
yeah,
So
yeah.
it's been like that because we have a very large community, Ghanaian
Mm,
community, and our place is not big.
mm,
It's kind of, we
yeah,
are close, 15 minutes walk, 20 minutes walk and all that. But
mm,
you would rather want to be in your space.
yeah,
You don't want to worsen your mental health.
yeah,
So
yeah, and
you want to be careful of friendships. That's it.
yeah,
But
that's true.
be
Yeah,
in community. You need be in community with everyone.
yeah, yeah. I mean, you're right. And the other thing is about, what people see from the outside is, let's say they see, I go for, let's say, a graduation, they see a lot of people there. Or let's say I go to the club. I mean, I don't go to the club, but let's say I go to the club and then I make a video, right? Or maybe an international student event, right? And then there is food, music. So when they see it from the outside, they think this is how it is all the time. But they have to they what they need to understand is that these are one-time events, and when you meet somebody there, the person will chat with you as if you guys are friends already. But after the
Yeah,
event, that's all.
it
Even in
ends there.
class, yeah, even in class, you some of your colleagues, they will be nice to you, everything as if there is something
Yeah,
from that is going to come out of that. But at the end of the day, nah, it is just
nothing.
not like that.
It
Yeah,
ends there in
it
that
ends in
moment,
class,
that
yeah, in the
second.
classroom, yeah. So it's really tough. Yeah, it's tough. Okay, let's get into some of the things that you've been doing, because it's actually one of the things that attracted me to you. I saw your I don't know, I think TikTok recommended your video of you to me or something, and I checked your profile and I saw you had an interview. A white lady was interviewing you about some of the things you were doing. What was the event about?
Oh, okay. So I worked at a TV station as a
Okay,
broadcast
in the US
assistant
here, right?
broadcast, yeah,
Okay,
producer,
okay.
and they were trying to highlight the stories of some of their international. How do I call it? Some of their internationals,
International
and
students.
not students per se, because they were doing it for teachers and other people.
Okay.
So just some of their internationals, the people that formed their community, and
Mm,
they liked me.
mm,
So they gave me the opportunity to talk about my experience, what brought me to the US,
mm,
and they wanted to get into my life and know me beyond school, beyond the work I do, and what my
mm.
passions were. So that's actually what led to the interview. So
Mm.
that's a TV station I work. I used to
Oh,
work
okay.
there. I used to
Uh,
work there.
how did you end up there? What was the process like? Did you apply? All of that.
The TV station is part of my school.
Okay.
Yes, even though it's part of my school, it shares the same building with the communication department,
Mm.
because one of the majors of the communication department, or one of our strongholds, is broadcast journalism and broadcast
Okay.
production. So we
Mm.
just have a TV station that helps you practice in real time,
Mm.
and we have
Okay.
one of the studios in our communication building that the students use, but then you can still go to the TV station to practice
Mm.
beyond that. So that's the connection. And even though it serves the people of New Mexico and West Texas, it is there to serve the school populace as well. So
Mm.
that's how I ended up there. They are open to receive you, they are willing to teach you. If you have
Mm.
the time, come.
Mm. So there isn't anything like an application that you had to
No.
submit. Oh, okay. What about the club you founded? You have a club, right?
Yeah. So, I was telling you that my coordinator had a gap she wanted someone to fill.
Mm.
And that's how I came in. Because she got to know that I founded Smiling Hour, my non-profit in
Mm.
Ghana. So she wanted somebody to found the Public Relations Students Association.
Mm.
We have the Public Relations Society of America, and they
Mm.
have student chapters across America in various colleges
Mm.
and universities. And they wanted my school to have a chapter,
Okay.
but there was no one to found and lead.
Mm.
So when she saw me, read my SOP, brought me into her class, and you know how
Mm.
practical their classes are. So in most of the
Mm.
classes, I shared my experiences, what my NGO does, and in most of them, you have to add pictures to tell the story, more like news reporting and stuff, profile
Mm.
writing. And I was basing all of it on me. I was telling my story in all my classes,
Mm.
adding pictures. So more like I was selling myself to her
Yeah.
at every given opportunity. And so she was like, okay, found this club, found the Public Relations Student Society of America, PRSSA.
Mm.
Go ahead, get it registered. So I went through the process, went on their website, found out what I have to go through. I designed a constitution based
Mm.
on the mother
Yeah.
organization's
Mm.
constitution. They already have some of these things laid down, so I just had to,
Yeah.
refer
Modify
to
them.
them.
Mm.
And then I had to register it as a student organization on campus. I
Mm.
went through the process. So
Yeah.
it was all that.
Yeah. What about your foundation in Ghana? When did you start and why?
2017, Smiling Hour.
Yeah.
I started because I'm a curious person. I go about asking questions. Why is this? Why is that? I like to be informed and I like to be prepared. So when I don't have so much information, I'm all over the place. I begin to panic a bit. And I went to the university and I realized that I go to class, I come to my room. I go to church, I come to my room. Okay, so what kind of cycle is this? Why do I go to class, come to my room? Why am I here? Am I just here to go to class, come to my room, go to church on Sundays, come to my room? What is there in store for me here in the university? So this was the question I had for myself. And I set out to find an answer to what I could make of the university,
Yeah.
aside just going to class, academics, or going to church. And that is what started the whole smiling hour thing for me. Because in finding answers to my own questions, I also wanted other people who were looking for these same answers to find their answers through my lens, through my findings, through my experiences. And one time in 2017, in February, we were just there when we heard that a student has committed suicide on Care University campus. And when I heard that, I remember I was like lying down like that. I got up and I sat on my bed. I was like, what in the heaven
Yeah.
would make a young lady commit suicide? And I was reading the news, different articles being written. People
Yeah.
said it's a broken heart. Others said she did not perform well in her exams. All those things. And in that moment, I heard a voice say, daughter, get a vision. And it felt like that get a vision had answered all my questions in the moment. Because there I just had a different understanding of everything that was going on. That why would I take my own life? What would
Yeah.
make me want to take my own life? Wait, who do I want to become in future? What am I working on? What is driving
Yeah.
me? What am I looking out for? What is it that I want that nobody can shake me or nothing, no situation, no weather, no storm? What is going to make me want to just stay afloat? And in the
Yeah.
moment, I was just saying all these things. I was writing them as I was thinking. And then I wrote my first article, Dear Daughter, Get a Vision. Because at the moment I realized that no, there has to be something you are looking forward to.
Yeah.
And if you are looking forward to something, then you would want to get to that thing no matter what. And that's how it started for me. So then I realized that no, there's something about the university I have to find out. And I thought of it and then I came up with a theme. The university, a universal market. No, the university, a potential market for personal, social, spiritual, career development and leadership. Because at that point, I realized that it wasn't just academics, but there could be personal development, there could be social development, there could be career development, there could be leadership development. Now, I was seeing things in a whole different lens,
Yeah.
spiritual development. So you have to choose which one you want to focus on. And if you don't want to focus on anything, then you want to enjoy the journey when it comes to all these things. Because remember that when you go, the university holds orientation sessions for you. Usually they focus on the academic bit. And then when there's elections and we have new leaders, they try to put a few social events together, invite guests. First, I
Yeah.
wouldn't go. I saw no reason I should go because, sometimes their communication and marketing is poor.
Yeah.
They don't tell you why you need all this. And I'm a fresher, nothing would compel me to want to come to your program. But in the moment, I realized that no, I'm missing out by not going to these places because I have to meet people. I have to go out there and meet people. I don't have to be confined to the people that are in the same class with me. Yes, we are in the same class, but I need to have friends in engineering, in the sciences, in everywhere. You need that connection. So all of a sudden, I was just seeing things in a different lens, in a different perspective that, no, girl, spread your wings. This is a market. Explore. Be everywhere. Do everything some. And just like that, I was seeing it. I was like, okay. So I even attempted. I went for Socio Women's Commissioner. I went for this. I went for that. I was like, okay. what pains me is that the only thing I didn't do was to really, really go for the week celebration, those things.
Mm,
Because I had to party. I didn't party. When
yeah.
life gives me the opportunity, I'll party very hard and bring you evidence. So that is what made me start my NGO.
Mm,
I wanted to inform, I wanted to educate, I wanted to create the awareness that yes, we are here to study. Yes, we are here for all the things you thought of before coming, but there's more to it. And you have to give yourself that chance to want to explore and experience the entirety of the university because it's not one thing, it's not two things. It's five, six, seven, eight, nine, and more and more and more and more. As many things that you want to open up to. And this was my message.
mm. So were you called Abena Smiling before you named your NGO Smiling Hour, or they came together? I was just, thinking about that.
Yeah, I brought Abna Smiling with me from SHS.
Oh, okay.
So
Why?
it was easier.
What do you mean by smiling?
It's a long story. When I start, we won't
Okay.
finish. I'll have story
Okay.
27, other stories in between before we get to the main
Yeah.
story. But yeah, maybe because I had a compliment from a guy, the most freshest guy in my class told me he never knew I had a
Hey.
beautiful smile. And I had been
Hey.
sitting by this guy for almost 2 years in class.
Hmm.
And he told me he never knew I had such a beautiful smile. So when he said that, I was like, okay, give it to me. And I decided to add it to my day born name, Abena Smiling. We used to do
So,
that thing a lot in SHS.
so the name came from
So,
a guy in a way.
oh yeah, it was a compliment. And then I just decided to
Uh,
find meaning in that.
okay. Let me ask, more study about questions. Aside the fact that, I mean, nothing is perfect in this world, right? So there's some things about your school that you were not too impressed with, right? But then will you recommend your school to other people?
Yes, I do that a lot. And
Mm,
on Wednesday, I had a friend go for interview. She'll be studying biology in my school.
mm,
They put her on administrative processing. On Thursday,
mm,
they approved and they told her to come for her passport.
mm.
I will
Nice.
recommend my school.
Mm,
Maybe that is, I have something that I'm looking for and I didn't find it there.
yeah,
But that doesn't mean you won't find what you are looking for.
yeah.
And this is just communication. I chose not to focus on anything. So sometimes I sit there and I'm like, okay, maybe me not focusing is also part of it.
And the
So what
application fee
didn't
is
work
still
for
free.
me? Yeah, it's still free.
Nice.
What didn't work for me might work for somebody. And the other departments are great. My friends are in chemistry, biology, and all the others, and they are doing very well. They have the facilities, they have the space and those things. So yes, come on. And if this is the school that will help you come to America, why not?
Yeah,
Come. Because I've had
yeah.
people come and they leave the school to other places. And that is their choice. So if that's the school that will help you come to America and it will help you realize your dream but in a different school, go for
Yeah.
it.
Okay. If someone watching this is a communication student and wants to study in the US, and your school is one of the schools that he or she is considering, do you have other schools that you would recommend for communication studies? One or two?
Yes. Okay. I have
Mm.
friends in other schools, so I mean, I know what's up. There's this school, SIUE. Is it Southern?
Illinois University.
Yeah, that
Uh,
school there.
mm,
It's in Illinois.
mm,
Yes, that school. They have one of the most competitive communication programs.
mm,
You may want to try that,
mm.
SIUE, because I don't remember the full name.
Yeah, E means Edwardsville, Southern Law University,
Yeah,
Edwardsville.
yeah.
Yeah.
And then there's this other school. What's the name? What's the name? Oh, Texas Tech.
Okay.
You may want to give their communication program a try. But there's also the New Mexico State University.
Mm,
And others in New Mexico, aside my school, there are other universities and colleges there that offer communication. You want to give it a try. But maybe if you reach out to me, I can give you a list. Right now, I can't think on
yeah.
top of my head.
Given that you help people, come to the US, you mentioned your friend who has just gotten her visa approved,
Yeah.
all of that. If I come to you that I want to study abroad, what are some of the tips that you give me?
First, I'll ask you, what action have you taken? I want to know the action you have taken,
I've not taken
because I
any
want to know
action.
how serious you are.
I've not taken any action, just that I am now starting out and I need information to kind of start out. What will you tell me?
Okay. If you've not started anything, then I'll tell you to go and do a research. Just do a general research. Type whatever you want to type. It doesn't have to be right. It doesn't have to be specific. You want to type communication programs in the US, schools offering communication program. However, you want to just type different things and just have a fair idea of the schools, their program. Just open a few websites of schools. Just open, have a fair idea of it. Just have a fair idea and come to me, because I'll ask you, what do you want to study? What specific thing do you want to study? What is your end goal? Because you don't want to go to a school that will not help you realize what you want,
Yeah,
especially in this America.
yeah.
So these are some of the questions. Then, if I have very specific schools I can recommend to you based on what you are seeking to achieve, because I'm still on pages that has a lot of people applying, going for interviews, and I still keep transcripts because I want to be able to refer people to schools that are accepting you, funding you, and
Yeah,
stuff. So
that's
I have a
nice.
collection. Then I
Wow.
can easily tell you, okay, move in this angle, check out these schools. If I can give you five, I've done well.
Yeah, I mean, 5 is
And I
good
can
enough.
also
Yeah.
recommend you to people who can help you with the application. But before I do that, I want to see that you are bringing in 60, 70, or 80 so that you don't become a burden on anyone. Nobody has the time to do
Yeah.
that.
So why are you not in the space, given the work you're already doing? Why not try to create content yourself? Because I feel like if people come to you all the time asking you questions, that can be very tiring. But if you have videos, you can just say, "Oh, go and watch this video I made," so that the video will tell you everything you need to know. Or you don't have
I
the
already
time.
told you, I don't enjoy being
Mm,
out here, especially when it comes to this. I just
yeah.
appreciate doing the little I can in my own space.
Mm,
Because my goal is that if I'm helping you, you are coming here or you are going wherever you want to go.
yeah.
And I have the network, a broad network. If you
Mm,
want to go to Canada and this school, I know somebody here. I'm holding your
mm,
hands. I'm taking you to this person. I'm sitting
mm,
down with you. I'm working on your CV myself.
mm,
I'm editing it. Just that I won't write your SOP for you. But once you bring it, I'm editing it. I'm doing this. I'm doing that. So I just want to spend quality time and do stuff for people. So I am
mm.
not open to do it for everybody.
Of
But if you
course.
find your own way and find me, you're
Yeah.
welcome.
Yeah.
Bring your 80, bring your 70, bring your 60. I have 20 to learn, I have 30 to learn, I have 40 to learn, and I can meet you that way.
Yeah. That makes sense. I mean,
Maybe
yeah.
in the
That's
future I might come out, but for now, no, thank you. You are doing a good job. We will come to you. We will all come to you.
okay. Well, what about how to make the application very competitive? Because for you, you didn't even send any cold email yet. The coordinator was so interested in you and was doing everything possible to make sure you come. Which means your SOP, your CV, there were things in them that made you stand out. So, what can you tell somebody who is trying to make sure his or her application is very competitive?
Understand the US system.
Mm,
They love people who are given to community. They want
yeah.
to invest in you when they know you are investing in yourself. So
Mm,
take your personal development serious.
mm,
Take all the volunteer activities you are doing very serious.
mm,
This is all I want to say. Here, they are not looking for the spaces like whether you've worked at the Bank of Ghana. No, they're looking at the things you have given to other people freely.
mm,
Even if it is not for free, you still did it for
yeah.
others. So
Mm,
focus on your personal development.
mm,
Focus on who you want to become and the things you can invest in yourself. Don't compromise on these things
mm,
and have a direction for your life. Have a vision because this is what you are going to communicate to them. Like, watch videos. Me,
mm,
I sat down. I watched. I watched videos on how to write SOP, personal statements, the differences between the two. And after watching so many videos, I sat down. I made my own notes. These
yeah.
are the things I'm going to focus on. Nobody helped me. I watched videos.
Mm,
And then when I was done, I sent my first draft to my friend. He was in Canada. And he wrote a second draft of my SOP. And then we both sat down and wrote a third draft of my SOP. Somebody would say it's not necessary. Well, to you, but to me, it
Yeah.
was. And it was easier because I had done my research, I had watched the videos, I had an understanding of what I was
Yeah.
doing. People had told me this is what they are looking for. It doesn't matter whether they are asking for it in their descriptions, but
Yeah.
this is what makes you competitive. I said, okay, thank you for letting me know. Let me speak a language they can understand.
Yeah.
And already I'm doing it. So if this is what you want to hear, then I'll just expand on it for you.
Yeah.
So take your life seriously. That's what I always tell people. When you take your life seriously, help is not out of reach.
That's
The
true.
schools, they want you, they have space for you.
Yeah.
They've not seen your kind or your type before. They really wish they had like 2 or more people like you. So bring in your energy and let them feel
Yeah.
it. Let them feel you. Don't tell the same stories. When you see people's stories, they're like, hey, me, I don't have this story. I don't come from an underdeprived. So you don't have to be from an underdeprived school.
Yeah.
I never tell my story from a point where I'm a rural girl. No. If you don't ask me where I'm from, you don't know. That's not how I tell my story.
Yeah.
I tell my story from a place of purpose, where I'm going to
Yeah.
and what I'm doing to get there, and how you can help me get there, and how I can also help you get to where you want to go.
Yeah. What is
So
your
it's in and out, or 50-50.
what is your one SOP tip for anyone watching this video?
Okay, I didn't see that coming. SOP tip:
Yeah.
don't sound needy, because you are not needy. Don't write and you didn't eat for 10 days and 4 days. Nobody cares.
Yeah.
Please don't sound needy. You are not needy. You are a competitive candidate or student.
Yeah.
Put this in your mind. I always tell my friends that if we should have even the average young person in Ghana live here, that person will thrive. So this is me putting a bet and a demand on you. You are that person. And that is how I want you to present yourself. And even if your background is not as flashy, whatever your background is, it has made you. Tell us that story.
Yeah.
Present that to us.
That makes
That is
sense.
what we
Yeah.
want to hear. You're not needy. No. The schools are not looking for people who are doing a pity party.
Yeah.
Get out of that pity party. Get out of that they owe you kind of thing. No school
Yeah.
owes you.
Yeah.
So no pity party, no needy whatever. No, you owe me kind of thing, or you need me. So no,
Yeah. Yeah. You're right.
don't do
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. Once you show your value, they will also value you and they'll give you
Yeah.
the opportunity to come. Yeah, that's true. Yeah. Okay. Now I want to get into OPT. You are done with school and you are currently on OPT. I want to understand your journey. Was it difficult for you to get a job? And, what did you learn in the process?
My journey has been a mix of everything. I never imagined it because for me, before I graduated, my graduate
Yeah.
coordinator and I had agreed that I was going to teach. And unfortunately, last year, summer, she passed away.
She passed away.
Yes, my graduate coordinator passed away.
The one who has been helping you throughout.
She passed away.
Huh.
So, me who was thinking that life was going to be easier because she was there, now I had to come to terms with reality and find out that no, whatever agreement I had with her was between us. She was going to make it work. So now that she's not here, I had to start working things out
Wow.
myself. Now it was hard because now I was going to stay because of her. If she's not there, then why would I want to stay?
Wow.
I started my OPT application, went through it. It was approved in less than 2 months. I received my card. And at the time, I was already applying to schools for PhD. And my friends had also said usually there are jobs within September, October, November, December, because those are the times that companies are trying to hire for the next year. So the pressure on me was on a different level. Applying to schools for PhD, finishing up my thesis, and now job searching.
Yeah.
By the end of the last semester, my school reached out to me. In fact, my new graduate coordinator told me she wants me to still stay and teach. but it was a part-time job. An adjunct faculty is always a part-time job.
Yeah.
And that wasn't going to be enough. It was just going to be okay. So I was like, okay. I put in the application and they approved it. I started background checks and everything. So I had a job on the side, I had a part-time job. But I wasn't looking to stay and teach. I never imagined myself staying to teach, especially after the demise of my graduate coordinator. But so my new coordinator was helping me. She was like, use this link, apply to schools and hire AD, try to find another adjunct position in addition to this. You just
Yeah.
teach online, you don't have to go in person. And that was where I realized that this might not apply to everybody because I am coming from New Mexico, and New Mexico, usually most companies do not hire from there. So now this was the bigger challenge I had to face. My geographical location in America, it was serving as a hindrance or as a challenge to me because I was applying to jobs and they would tell you, you are applying from a restricted, they have a name for those things. So
Wow.
before you put in the job application, you see it with your eyes that we are not hiring from New Mexico. And then you still go ahead and apply because you have faith in it.
Yeah.
So when I had an understanding of this, I was not even forcing myself to apply to places that were not hiring from my end because this is America. We are talking
Yeah.
about systems.
Yeah.
They won't make an exception.
Yeah.
Well, maybe they might, but they don't.
Yeah.
They
They really
don't.
do. Yeah.
So I understood it. It's like, okay, now this is not going to work. Then let me go and pay for flex jobs. Indeed, all these jobs, all these ones I paid, I subscribed because I want a job. If I'm
Yeah.
going to stay here and teach in person, then I need a remote job, something I can do from anywhere.
Yeah.
And I was applying, I was applying, I was applying, and I was realizing that, okay, I do not know how to specify because I'm a jack of all trades. Wherever you put me, I get a job done. But now I have to specialize. I have to search for public relations job. I have to search for broadcast production jobs. I have to search for broadcast journalism jobs. I have to search for media jobs. I have to search for administrative assistant jobs, executive assistant. I had to be very specific in my search.
Yeah.
So that is one thing we have to bear in mind. Specify. In when you're doing your search, if you want to put jobs for chemistry, it doesn't work that way.
Yeah.
Knowing the specific jobs that are aligned to your course of study will help you get through that. But I didn't want to specify. So generally my search was like communication related jobs. And I had to learn it the hard way because I don't want to specify. I want a space that while I'm writing, I'm interacting with people, I'm receiving people, I'm directing. I
Yeah.
wanted to do all these things. But that's not how it works. Those America, they like to specify. They don't like to overload. Well, there are some fields that might, but they don't do that.
Yeah.
So that was one of my challenges, not specifying in my search. But eventually I got a hang of it and then I started searching for very specific things. I went to my department, took a picture of the jobs that are related to my program. Then I came to sit down and I started doing individual search on that. But in all the applications, they'll ask you, would you need visa
Yeah.
sponsorship in the future? I
Yeah.
personally did not need one because I wanted to go into a PhD. I just needed something to do for the
Yeah.
time being. So usually I'll choose no. But even with that, they still don't get back to you because
Yeah.
they realize you're now done with school, OPT, they don't get back to you. So that was the main challenge. So one, bear in mind where you stay or the state you are in can be a blessing. That's why I said do your research. You want to find out about the state you are going into. What are the job prospects in that place? America is big. You can go anywhere. But sometimes when it comes to these things, if you have to relocate before they even pay attention to your application. So I have friends that because they had families in other places in their applications, they were using the address of their relatives to do that. And that's what helped them land the jobs they had. So this is also the tip. If you want a job in a certain place, you may want to find a friend there and use their specific address to apply. Because even the remote jobs, they want you to be in the state or in the city,
Yeah.
or sometimes a certain distance from an office near you or something. If you're able to pay attention to all these, it can work for you. But in as much as I was willing to relocate, I had accepted to teach, and the classes were in person. I couldn't move. There was something holding me back.
Yeah.
And another challenge I had was that I didn't have a car. So even if I had wanted to work later in the night elsewhere, how was I going to go? And
Yeah.
New Mexico doesn't have public transportation system. Not the whole New Mexico, but where I was, it
Yeah.
didn't have one. So I was also again limited. And these were the challenges I faced. And the referral part. You see the parts where you get in your application, they ask you, who is referring you?
Yeah.
Who introduced this opportunity to you? If I were you, I won't overlook that part because that part contributes a lot. You won't believe that I did so many applications, didn't get any interview, didn't get feedback from any of them. I was even looking for internships. I was like, okay, if I don't get a job, let me just get an internship in addition to my teaching. I'm
Yeah.
content with it. They even internships are asking you who referred you. Until one day I'm just there. Somebody sends me a friend request on Facebook. I have the time. I'll go and look at your profile, find out who is seeking me, and then before I come and accept.
Yeah.
And I realized, oh, this person is here, this person is there, this person does this. Okay, this is somebody I would want to have on my FOP. So I accepted this person's friend request. And at that instant, the person texted me, hey, I realized you are teaching, you teach here. I was also a teacher, but I recently stopped teaching and then I moved to this place. Can we chat? And I'm like, yes. I like people who have my kind of experiences. So let's talk. So this person shares his experience as an adjunct professor and how the money was not enough and he has moved to a full-time job doing this. And I'm like, yes, I'm also looking for a job. And this was after 5 months. I'm also looking for a job. He's like, oh, my company is hiring. Let me share my website link with you, this and that. And he sends his email. He says, use me as a referral. I was like, okay, this is interesting. So I
Yeah.
go on there, spot a number of jobs that I qualify for, but most of them were administrative wise. I apply, I get to who referred you. The way I'm confident, put in the person's email. For the first time, I get an interview.
Wow.
I get a feedback. I was like, okay. Because then I did my research and I found out that when it comes to job applications, the top priority is internal hiring. The second is referrals. So referral worked for me. There were jobs that I saw that I really wanted that I was overqualified for, but I tailored my resume to suit it. And I went on LinkedIn trying to reach out to people who work in that organization to at least refer me because I had heard of referral. And they wouldn't even reply your LinkedIn message. The thing is, they're not even active themselves.
Yeah.
So the challenge is on a different level. And another thing is that they tell international students to network. Anybody you talk about this thing to, they tell you to network. And when I see posts like that, I just sit back and I say, it's not because we are not networking. We are networking. As somebody will say, you're not networking with the right people. No, that's not how, you can't say that this to an international student. Our
Yeah.
journey is challenging. These people that it's their own land, how many of them stay behind after events to even speak to their own
Yeah.
guests? And they don't do that. But we
Yeah.
do that. We exchange contact. See, I reached out to all the people, the executive directors and their deputies that I know from different organizations, and they said they were not hiring. So are you going to tell me that I did not network?
Yeah.
I did. Because me here in New Mexico, I was moving from one state to the other, volunteering, doing this, doing that. I had a network. In school, during media conferences, I was meeting industry personnel because I was moderating sessions, leading discussions. I have emails, I have cards, contact cards. What are you talking about?
Yeah.
It's not about the networking. It's about the person who really wants to help you.
Yeah. That's true. Yeah.
It's about the person who really understands your challenge and wants to help you. Because somebody had to come and send me a friend request, tell me, use me as a referral. And then I got an interview. And what happened to be my first interview is the job I'm doing now. So that's it's a complicated system. Everything is just complex. You cannot understand it. You don't have to force to understand it.
Yeah.
You can only do as much as you can. You can only do. Even some of my friends use external parties. They pay to them, and then they apply to jobs for them.
Yeah.
I didn't know about that. Maybe at the time, if I knew, I would have explored that, because three of my friends used it and it worked for them. Just that they ended up starting work like 2 months or 3 months after graduation. By then, I had already started teaching. I started teaching in January when the spring semester started. So I had already started working, and I was still searching for a job and I was not getting. And later on, I had a referral and I was done teaching. School is on vacation, then I moved here. My story is different.
Yeah.
Yours will be different,
Yeah.
because my friends, they were not doing any part-time job, so they just relocated to wherever the companies were. And the thing is, they didn't even move very far away from New Mexico, where we were. We were barely 2 hours away from Texas, so they moved to Texas. It was just within their
Yeah. Very close.
reach. So this is it. This is me sharing what I have experienced and learned with you. Network. Do your best. Network. Maybe somebody you network with will have an opportunity at the time you may need them. By me, they told me they were not hiring. And tailoring CV for every job, people make it sound like it's easy. It's not.
Nah. It's so much work.
It's not. Because for me, who has uh like different experiences, because I've worked in different fields. So I just say I'm a well-rounded scholar. I've worked in archives, administration. I just have those experiences. So at every point in time, every job is asking me for a different skill set and experience altogether. And I have it. So I'm not coming to put it together to tailor it to suit them. Yes, I
Yeah.
have the experience. It's a lot of job. It's draining. So it's
Yeah.
not easy, but you have to put in the work and speak to people. Let people guide you. My friends used to say I'm lazy. They used to say I'm not serious. Why am I teaching? Why have I accepted a part-time job when I could have been doing a full-time job? But every day when I pray, the Lord would tell me, we will all not have the same stories. And maybe I do not know where this teaching will lead me to, but
Yeah.
I had to teach. I just knew in the moment I had to teach. Did I enjoy my life teaching? Yes. If I had this opportunity before the teaching, would I have left? The possibility is high. I would have left to come here. But to me, this is my story.
Yeah.
Yours may be different. Just that sometimes I feel I've not taken advantage of this period to really make money like people are making, which is okay. I'm not really so heavy on money. I'm now learning to start doing money thing. I'm
Yeah.
more of a value driven person. I go to places where I can make impact, places where I can make change.
Yeah.
The money, good. In America, I need the money, pay rent and stuff. Me, once my rent is paid and I have food, I'm okay. Somebody will say, "Oh, you don't want to send money to the house." My family is okay. God is taking care of them. What I have, I give them. But for now, you want to focus. You need the job.
Yeah.
So that which you can get access to, focus on it. Don't do too much of money. If you want to do too much of money, you miss out on a lot of things.
Yeah.
And the OPT has
That's true.
restrictions,
Yeah.
90 days. And they are so strict on it.
Yeah. You have to get a job. Yeah.
And even if it's an internship, you need something to start with.
Yeah.
So the teaching helped me. For a moment, I stopped job searching because it was beginning to take a toll on me.
So are you still teaching, or you've
Oh
quitted
no,
it?
my contract was just for the spring semester.
Okay.
So once the semester is over, I just had to move. And by then I had had a new job, a full-time job. So I just relocated to where the job is.
So right now, are you still like, are you okay with it, with your mental health? Because now at least you have somebody that you know or something, or is
My mental health is a lot better. And I think also where you stay plays a role in in this whole mental health issue. I have specific when it comes to my type of room. The room I was in had, I'll say I didn't like the window size. So It was more like it was preventing me from experiencing life.
Yeah.
But my new room here, I like it.
Mm,
I like very spacious places because I like to use my mind a lot.
mm,
That place I used to feel a lot confined, but over here there's a lot of space.
mm,
So, and over here it's a city. I see a lot of people. I don't interact with them, but I see them. So I
mm,
have a sense of life around me.
mm. Okay.
And for
Yeah.
me, that works for me.
Mm,
So it's about my space and the world outside altogether.
mm,
And these two are helping with my mental health.
mm,
Like I'm doing better.
mm.
All these years in America, I now feel like, okay, I'm doing
You
better.
feel like human. Yeah, that's good to know.
Yes.
That's good
Yeah.
to know. Yeah, the friend who sent you the request on Facebook, is he a Ghanaian, an
Yes, he's a
African?
Ghanaian.
Oh, okay.
Just that
Mm,
he's been out of the country for like 10 years.
mm,
So, yeah.
I see. Yeah. Just to give context to those who are watching this, do you have an idea how many jobs you applied to or you
Oh,
applied for?
honestly,
Mm,
me, when I used to, like when I was beginning to understand some of these things, I was not bothering myself with applying to 100 jobs, 300 jobs. No, I did not apply to more than 100 jobs. I don't think I even made it to 50. I thrive on understanding. If I understand how something works, I don't do too much.
that makes
I was very
sense.
strategic in my applications.
So, what is your
And
current
that's why
job?
they said I was lazy, actually.
Yeah, I mean, if you're not in somebody's shoes, you can easily talk because life is more complicated than that. You cannot
No,
really
but
be on the
Shy, they
outside
are
and then
using third parties, okay? And they've
yeah,
done over 500 applications. It's 1 month after graduation.
hmm,
This is not to offend anyone, but
yeah,
I deliberately checked up on them. I was like, hey, it's 1 month after graduation. How are you feeling? How are you doing?
yeah,
Because when I was crumpling, you saw me crumple. When I was going through it, you saw me. I understand the position you are in. That's why I've come to ask you. But then I was also trying to point out something to them.
yeah,
Our stories are different. The fact that you even have a third party doesn't mean you secure a job. The process is complex. Once you're an international and it's OPT,
yeah,
even they are even in the sciences, you know,
mm,
you still go through it.
yeah,
It is
yeah,
very few people who do not go through the stress.
yeah. Especially now with the new governments and all of that, things are not that
Yeah.
easy. Yeah. So, what is your current job and what exactly do you do?
Okay, I'm an administrative support assistant.
I have actually learned so much from you. Like, I can remember, your visa interview experience, the fact that you were denied, you went again, the thing about your SOP that made the coordinator so interested in you. That was really important. You talked about the OPT experience, the challenges, so many of these challenges that people don't talk about. So for you to have been able to share all of these things, the OPT experience and how you eventually got a job, you give a lot of tips. These are so important. Like I am not on OPT yet. I'll be on OPT next year, and I've taken all of these things, like you met the referrals. Yeah, if you don't just say on Google, right? If ideally, if you get somebody to refer you, like that is so important. And you give some study abroad tips. You talked about your mental health, which is not easy to share because some of these things when you share them, people outside they don't understand. They think, oh, somebody will say, oh, I am somebody who likes to be in my room all the time. But like you said, in here it's like even when you go out, nobody really you don't hear the sound of babies crying, you don't
Yeah.
hear anything, you're not even going to see, you know a lot of animals. The animals you see are squirrels,
And then
right?
when you try
And
talking to somebody, they won't listen. Especially if the person is
yeah,
not an international, they don't stop to talk to you.
yeah, yeah, it's not the way people see it from the outside. So
Mhm.
you've shared so many things, and some of the things you've shared nobody has actually talked about on this platform, like in this detail like you have done. So I really appreciate that. And uh, if somebody's watching this and the person wants to follow you, where can they do that?
Please don't follow me. Please, I
Mm,
beg.
mm. Yeah, it's a lot of work. It's crazy. Like sometimes I wake up and then I have like, you know, maybe 20 messages and I'm like, what? Like, and some people they don't even respect. Like they will just be calling you instead of them to wait for you to respond to the message. They will be calling you, and right now you are still, you know, kind of taking care of certain things, and you are still, your mental health is okay, but it's not perfect, and so
Yeah.
you still have things to do and all of that. So yeah, the last thing you want is for people to bombard you with messages and disturbing you and all of that. So yeah, I respect that a lot. What are your final words to anyone who has been able to watch this video, to this point?
But Shai, I'm being honest when I say they shouldn't follow me because I really didn't want to do this or show
Yeah,
my face. You
yeah, you,
know
you
very
you said
well.
it. Yeah, you said it, and I was like, showing your face gives a lot of authority to whatever you are saying, because we want to see the face behind those authoritative words in a way. So yeah, I told you, and then you agreed to do that. And one of the things that I saw from everything, is that you, in a way, you don't want people to go through what you went through. You want them to know the reality,
Yeah.
as a way of caution before they come, so that they wouldn't come and then experience the same thing, or even say nobody told them, right? So
Yeah.
that is why you decided to do it, and I really appreciate that. And there is nothing wrong with you not wanting people to follow you. Like, yeah, there are some people who actually want people to follow them because they like it. There are some people who are not like that. Everybody has to be themselves, and there is really nothing wrong with that. The fact that you have spent a lot of time doing this, like, nobody can ask for more than this, because the things you have shared. I have been in the US for 9 years, but I still had to learn a lot of things from you, and I'm not
Yeah.
kidding. Like, so yeah, I mean, that you've done your part, and you're already helping other people. That is the best you can do, like in your own private space. As soon as you make it public, you cannot handle it. Like, you cannot. So just focus on the people you are helping right now. When I came to the US, I was supposed to focus a lot more on myself, but that is, I made a lot of mistakes, and I don't
Mistakes.
I'm not complaining. I'm not complaining, but
Yeah.
it is part of my story.
Mm-hmm.
Anyone who reached out to me on LinkedIn, on Facebook, I was helping the person, paying application fees. I was doing a lot of things for people. Some of these people, they came and then they started misbehaving and all of that. So it's like, I understand you totally. If somebody has not been in your shoes, the person will not understand. But maybe one day, if they get opportunity to be you, like to be like you, then they will look back and then appreciate you so much. So yeah, I am okay with that. So what are your final words? Because yeah, I mean, I want to hear your final
My
words.
final words:
Yeah.
you are a competitive candidate. When you look at the study abroad dream you have, it's not out of reach
Hmm.
because I didn't have that dream. I just had to put in the work.
Yeah.
And yes, I was fortunate to have a community to help me.
Hmm.
That doesn't mean you won't have one.
Yeah.
Because my friend who just went on Wednesday, she never thought
Hmm.
she would even apply.
Hmm.
But because she saw me here, she spoke to me about my school.
Hmm.
I gave her the direction. I held her hand, introduced her to somebody in the course she wants to study, guided her. I'll ask her, have you had a mock interview? I'm not going to take you. If you want to do a mock interview, make sure you join some. I will ask you
Yeah.
all the right questions. I will
Hmm.
direct you, support you, check in on you, but I won't do anything for you.
Yeah.
So put in the work.
Yeah.
If you are serious, help is not out of reach. You can reach
Yeah.
out to the many people you see on TikTok, on LinkedIn
Hmm.
that are helping people with all these things.
Yeah.
They just want somebody who is as serious about their own lives
Yeah.
as they would want to be serious about you,
Yeah.
and they will help you.
That's true. Yeah.
But if that's not the case and you can do it on your own, go ahead, do it.
Hmm.
Do it.
Yeah.
And there are a lot of resources on YouTube. Me, I want to know how to do everything for myself. That is
Yeah.
why I will go and search and do it.
Yeah.
And I want you to want to be that same person,
Hmm.
want to understand
Yeah.
things and know them so that when you know it, the people around you wouldn't have to suffer.
Yeah.
So when you know it, you will teach them or you will do it for them or however you want to go about it.
Yeah.
So go through it, go through the process. It's a process, but the process builds in you character.
Yeah.
It gives you skills, it gives you
Hmm.
experience,
Hmm.
knowledge. Position
Yeah.
yourself like that and
Yeah.
go through it. There are resources available. Now you know Shy Guides is there. Go to his page. Learn, listen.
Yeah.
And then you'll be just fine.
Hmm.
That dream, you can achieve it. People who do not have the GPS you have, people who are not intelligent than you, people who are not smarter than you. They've done it and they are
Yeah.
here.
Yeah.
So what shows you can't do it? Just that if
Yeah.
you don't want to study abroad, you don't have to force it. It shouldn't be
Mm.
like everybody's going abroad, so you are coming.
Yeah.
Me, if you book a flight for me to come to Ghana tomorrow, I'll come. Not because I don't like it here. I
Yeah.
do. But I don't have a future
Yeah.
wrapped as, like around a certain place or something. No. I
Yeah.
believe so much I'll thrive wherever you put me or wherever I find myself.
Yeah.
I only had a future in Ghana. If you ask me, that was what I had in mind.
Mm.
But here I am.
Yeah.
So different stories, different contexts, different people.
Yeah.
Don't say because all your friends are going, so you too are going. If you don't want it, don't do it. But if you want it, go for it. And if
Yeah.
you should happen to find me anywhere on the media and you want to reach out, that is okay.
Yeah.
I'll be glad to hear what you have going, and
Mm.
because for the CV is very important. I
Yeah.
want you to spend time on it, tailor it properly. CV, SOP, watch
Mm.
videos. I can go online and send you very specific links to
Mm.
the difference between SOP and personal statement. I won't do
Yeah.
it for you. I'll tell you to watch it and learn
Yeah.
because I have gone through it. So now I have gathered resources. Don't approach any of these people online thinking they'll do it for you.
Yeah.
That is why they have agents and those
Yeah.
people. It's is it
Yeah.
consult,
Consult.
whatever. For
Consult.
those people,
Yeah.
you pay them and they do it for you. They are
Yeah.
different.
Yeah.
But these other young people online who are sharing tips and want to help you, please don't give them trouble. Don't give anybody trouble, okay?
Yeah.
They are
Yeah.
really going through it over here. And this is what they are doing to stay alive. They are
Yeah.
finding purpose
Yeah.
in the moment. So please
Mm.
don't make it any harder than it is
Yeah.
on them. And I
Yeah.
appreciate you actually listening. Don't be offended because I didn't share my media,
No, 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 nobody
whatever.
will be
My
offended.
name
Yeah.
is here. If you
Yeah.
get it, you get it.
Yeah.
And thank you so much for having
Yeah.
me, Shy.
I actually remember something. So your name Charity, do you think the name influences you a lot?
It does. Just
Mm.
that I've tried to distinguish the Abena Smiling from the charity.
Mm.
And even though it's the same person, I
Yeah.
think I have different roles or personalities with the
Mm.
two. But my name Charity, when I'm asleep and you wake me up, once I hear the name, the way I will wake up, it's different from the way I wake up when I hear Abna smiling.
Ah.
Yes. So I just have different purposes attached to the names.
So how should I call you? Charity or Abena?
I sometimes I even forget. It's like people know me as Abna, and then I go and I'm like, I am Charity, and I'm like, oh, I'm Abna. So sometimes even me, I get
Yeah.
confused on how to introduce myself. So maybe just call me Abena. I think I prefer that, and then I'll
Mm.
have to tone down on the way I introduce myself as Charity. Just that I've been out of the Abena phase for a bit. So I
Mm.
think I've put on more of Charity, but people do not want to tone down on the Abena. It's different
Yeah.
visions at play at the
Yeah.
same time.
Mm. Yeah. Yeah. Abena, thank you so much.